Nice. Hake is live, and this is loud. And we are live on Mixer, Periscope, Facebook, D Live, YouTube, and it should be going live on Twitch. What's up, guys? I am James Hake. This is Tuesday, April 28th, 2020. Thank you, guys. Let's get ready for a show.
One time. Oh, it's the Hake Report.
What a mess.
The Hake Report. La la la.
I'm sorry, guys. It happened again, of course, right? It happened again. F for Frank. Frankly, I'm upset because I don't know if you even noticed, Joel, but the stream went down in the middle of the beautiful song from Trevor. Man, what a mess. No, it went down, but it came back up. So Mixer is starting the restream. It's Twitch is on and off, and Mixer's trying. Twitch is trying. But I am on YouTube, D Live, Periscope, and Facebook. So what's up, guys? If you missed the beautiful song, the lyrics were, "Oh, it's the Hake Report," something like that. Sorry. I'm sorry. Actually, I shouldn't be sorry. Joel's sorry. He has this magic that is passed down from the ancestors because he's Creole. And the Creoles have magic. They have like a voodoo doll of our computer, and they're voodooing it any time that James's show is supposed to come on. I come on at 9 a.m. our time here in Los Angeles, which is peak internet use time. That's when everybody's on Facebook, everybody who's still on Facebook, right? The boomers. And so it's a mess. I like chicken with the bones, but I also like chicken tenders, but I don't consider those wings. But hey, some people do. Or chicken McNuggets. Okay, good video and audio now. Appreciate that, Wayne and Rhonda. Thank you on Periscope. So, guys, I'm probably in a new stream, at least for Periscope. So it's Tuesday, like I said, April 28th, 2020. I have a bunch of stuff to get to. Appreciate you guys calling in. I have Samuel from Sweden calling in. I summoned him yesterday. Hang tight, Samuel. I will get to you. Samuel. Actually, he doesn't pronounce it like that. Media are such sleaze bags. If you were listening to Hake News at the end of hour 2 of the Jesse Lee Peterson show today, it's been a rough few weeks, man. Apologies, but thank you for hanging with us through the technical difficulties. And thank you to Nick the Chick for saying, "Great hair, James." And I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. But the media are such sleaze bags. Is that a bad word to say, kids? I don't know. But my feeling that I think that they would jump at the chance to clown the Christians, the conservatives, the whites, the men, even when they're suffering in sickness and death, getting killed around the world, by the way. I think Christians are the most persecuted religion. Are they not? Am I wrong? Let me know. If I'm wrong, let me know. If I'm right, let me know. But regardless, like, truth tellers are hated generally. And yet and that's why, the deluded people, of which, comes across all spectrums, right? But the particular deluded people, called journalists, think that they're telling the truth. They're not. They may tell some facts here and there. Every now and then they may slip up and tell the truth. But they're so fake. I read for you guys a story of this woman who's a lockdown protest leader from North Carolina. She came down with this coronavirus, but she didn't really come down because she hasn't shown any symptoms. I don't know how they found out that she contracted this coronavirus thing. Her name is Audrey Whitlock. Probably a Gen X or boomer. white woman up in North Carolina or down in North Carolina. Beautiful state. I've been there. Very nice state. And she's supposedly a protest leader for Reopen Reopen NC, short for North Carolina. And they have a Democrat governor over there. But she's forced to quarantine, and she says it's a violation of her rights. I think it is. I think it is. If they're going to arrest her or whatever for denying a quarantine order, yeah. I think people have common decency to stay at home. Some people don't. They don't have the sense to stay at home if they're sick. But they're going after her. And then Drudge gave this headline, which was a repeat of a previous Drudge headline from early this month of a preacher from, I forget where he's from, but he spent some time down in Joel's ancestors' place, Louisiana, for the Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras is like the sinner's time, right? Isn't Mardi Gras like March? It's a March time. They have Fat Tuesday, right? Is that Mardi Gras? And a bunch of degenerate boomers, I think, go down and hang out in Louisiana, specifically New Orleans, the other city of sin, right? As opposed to Las Vegas. And so he went down there not to party with the sinners, but to preach to the sinners. But he's kind of, I have some pictures of him, actually, I think. His name is Landon Spradlin. He's the white man. If you just generally show pictures, I can tell you when to stop, because there may be some pictures that, I don't know, I don't remember how they looked. But this guy, he died. Yeah, there he is. Blues musician. He looks okay there, but when you see pictures of his body, you can tell that he's a little overweight. By overweight, I mean a little fat. There. There's him with his daughter. And you can tell he's not exactly like totally healthy. You don't expect him to die of the coronavirus, like I keep saying all the time about these people supposedly dying from this. They die, but supposedly it's from this coronavirus thing. He was a Hall of Fame blues musician, this man. And I told you all about him, it feels like a month ago, but it was weeks ago. But now Washington Post is rehashing it. And it's an excuse to attack the Christians, in my opinion. And then they fake like they care about these people. They fake like, oh, we're showing a compassionate message. Christians, you need us socialists to look after you and tell you what to do with your life. I don't buy that. It's so fake. So those are some pictures of the preacher who died earlier this month. I have this female wannabe politician who criticized a white man politician, young black female politician, attacking the white man for participating in this open North Carolina rally. Do you have pictures of her? I think I gave you pictures of her. And this politician-looking guy. There's the woman. She doesn't look like she's quote unquote black American to me. She looks like she has an accent, but I could be totally wrong. Maybe she's just a total Southern woman, but just with short hair. A short-haired black woman with bleached tips. But not good. Her name is Cynthia Wallace, running for U.S. Congress against this white politician man, boomer-looking guy, whose smile, I don't trust him either, based on his smile. I just don't trust him. I'm not sure. Maybe he's a good guy. I just don't know. He did, to his credit, I guess, participate in this open NC rally. I'm sympathetic to these rallies. I don't know. I don't know the people involved, but I appreciate the, freedom. I don't think that does the government even really have the right to force businesses to close, including cities? Do they have the right? Let me know, people, somebody who knows my stuff. James loves the black women. Not this one, though. She's Maybe she had longer hair and younger and slimmer. But no, she's a liberal. Aren't they all, though? But no. Was there anything else? Oh, there was this. Did I give you this female doctor who died? There's like this picture with like blurry sides around. White woman. White looking woman. I don't know if that's a full on white woman, but I told you about her in the Hake News at the end of the first hour. She committed suicide, this woman. And her father was a doctor, or is a doctor himself, or physician, or whatever. This woman's name, I'm showing you a picture of her if you're not listening to the podcast. Dr. Lorna Breen committed suicide. And, you know, the New York Post is a trash outlet. Sometimes they have good articles because they let conservatives write sometimes. But generally they're kind of trash and tabloidy. And they participate in the smearing of Christians, I think. But anyways, they're kissing up to suicide, in my opinion. I got this from a Drudge headline, of course. I know some of you guys are really turned off to Drudge, but hey, bear with me. This top Manhattan doctor, what a mess. Look at that woman. Does it look like I'm looking at her? This is her. That's terrible. Terrible as in stupid. They should be calling her stupid for committing suicide. But no, they're acting like she's a hero or something. Listen to her father talking, which, not to be mean, but no wonder she killed herself, if this is how her father's mindset is. She tried to do her job and it killed her. Dr. Philip Breen, her father, told the New York Times. What a trash man. It's kind of like saying a garbage person. Garbage person is a term that Ben Shapiro uses about people who are not necessarily, in my opinion, they're very fine people. But anyways, this guy is talking like he didn't raise his daughter to be strong. Strong woman, right? She's 49 years old. Battle weary is the term that New York Post referred to her as. Is it me, or is the media romanticizing suicide and not blaming? You have to victim blame on a suicide person. You have to, because they're also the perpetrator, right? She killed herself. And another guy killed himself, a young guy, John Mondello, in New York. He was an EMT, Bronx EMT. That's emergency medical transport or something like that, meaning a ambulance guy, paramedic, rookie. Shot himself with his dad's gun. His dad was a retired NYPD cop. So I have friends who just call these people idiots. And it's true. They're idiots for killing themselves. Yeah, she does look young, Richie. She looks kind of 35. Maybe it was a touched up or old picture. Who knows? But battle weary. So, and you know, they're chalking this up to, listen to this. This is her father speaking to New York Times, a trash outlet, right? She was truly in the trenches on the front line. Make sure she's praised as a hero. She is a casualty just as much as anyone else who has died. Oh, gosh. That's terrible. I mean, she is 50, she was 49 when she died? They're calling her, this man, her father, calling her a casualty. So, I kind of, I don't want to blame him because she's almost 50 and doing it to herself. But with a male like that, and that's a doctor. Whatever happened to doctors doing no harm? Doctors take this thing called Hippocratic Oath, something like that. More like it's a hypocrite oath, because they're hypocrites, doctors are. Kind of. Because they kill themselves, and they kill babies, and they're liberals. They're dumb. So, anyways, that's that. Did you catch, before I get to calls, real quick, did you guys catch Jesse Lee Peterson versus Professor Dave I don't know if Jesse mentioned that on his show today. Did he? But Professor Dave is a YouTuber. Oh, I think he has over 750,000 subscribers on his channel. That's nice. Yeah, he mentioned it briefly. So he debated a guy who lives in North Hollywood. Jesse kept on misremembering it as West Hollywood. And I chuckled because, and the guy chuckled himself, the guest, because West Hollywood is the gay, known to be very homosexual. It just is known to be brazenly, shamelessly. But his channel is Professor Dave Explains, which is not shadow banned on Google search, by the way. You Google Professor Dave, and his channel shows right up at the #1 result. Professor Dave Explains. That's the channel. North Hollywood isn't cheap, says Joel. I don't know. I think of that as being almost like where the Armenians are spilling over. So I guess it is kind of not that inexpensive, but not that, I don't know. But anyways, the reason I mentioned that Google search was because 1-bedroom apartment, 2,500. Whoa. Okay. Depends. I Google searched Jesse Lee Peterson, and his channel is nowhere to be found. Specifically, I mean, I went through 10 pages, and I'm like, okay, we're not going to find his YouTube channel or his videos. Completely, that's not shadow banning. That's like brazen open targeting of Jesse Lee Peterson as not approved. It's kind of like if I were to do a video titled "The Truth About Climate Change," you would see a Wikipedia article about climate change right up underneath my YouTube video, right? Same thing with this COVID-19 thing early on when we were talking about coronavirus and COVID-19. At the bottom of certain YouTube videos that were about that early on, it would show the CDC, some so-called fake liberal, so-called authoritative source, right? Well, at the top of the results of Jesse Lee Peterson search, not his YouTube channel, which is like his biggest outlet, right? But instead, and not even The Fallen State, nor Bond, Rebuilding the Man, 3 YouTube channels. None of them show up. Just other people's videos do. His Twitter, of course, because YouTube can't suppress his Twitter because they don't control the Twitter. But his YouTube is nowhere to be found. But they put, what do they put? The liberal, not to be trusted Wikipedia. And Wikipedia does have some factual information, but they're run by liberals. What a mess. But anyways, the stream was on a channel called Modern Day Debate with a host/moderator named James something, no relation to me. Dave's into science and data, but oh my gosh, he embarrassed himself. Woo! By accusing Jesse Lee Peterson of lying when Jesse said that 70 to 77% of black babies are born out of wedlock to single mothers. And he hated Jesse early on. He was all mad and arrogant and sassy. But he liked Jesse by the end. It was funny. Because you can't resist the pure love, right? And he talked about data and studies, right? And then Jesse Lee Peterson made the point that all these studies said that Trump would win the 2016 election. You can't trust studies. They're made by liberals, intellectuals. And then the intellectual guy, Professor Dave, corrected Jesse by saying they were polls, they weren't studies trying to predict the future. Well, speaking of trying to predict the future, think about all these polls, these same polls that try to predict catastrophic, man-made, anthropomorphic climate change. Cataclysmic climate change, right? Would destroy us and be irreversible in 12 years. Pick one, right? You can't trust these polls. And now the intellectual is going to say, correction, James, those aren't polls, those are studies. Trying to predict the future. And they haven't successfully done it yet. Anyways. Yeah, so check that out. It was a nice debate. Modern Day Debate was the channel. And It should be on Jesse Lee Peterson's playlist of media interviews with Jesse Lee Peterson. If it's not there already, it should be there soon. Okay? On YouTube, you go to youtube.com/Jesse Lee Peterson 1. Scroll down, you can see all the some of the different playlists of Jesse, his church services, some of the 90s shows, although many of the 90s shows are not in public. They're only available on Patreon and or Subscribestar. If you prefer Subscribestar, you can go to Subscribestar and get the same stuff that's on Patreon, Jesse Lee Peterson Patreon, Jesse Lee Peterson Subscribestar, or New Project 2. New Project, the number 2, newproject2.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. 3 separate but equal platforms with the same stuff on them. So take your pick on which platform on which you prefer to support Jesse, right? I'm gonna get to. I may get to this. There's a difference between Jesse Lee Peterson and most of the Jew critics, and then I will take calls. Appreciate it. Lewis, I see your chat. But I do want to get to that, and I have some more Corona quote-unquote news. Stay-at-home orders. California is lame. People went to the beach, and now the governor's all mad. And a little bit more. Food supply? Is the food supply in trouble? I don't know. Or is it scaremongering? So, anyways, let me get to Samuel. He's been on hold for a while. Samuel, out of Sweden. Samuel, thanks for holding, man. Good to hear from you. Thanks for calling in.
No, yeah, hi.
Hey.
You summoned me yesterday, so I thought, well, I'll call in and...
Yeah, because I heard... So the news was that Sweden is cracking down or something on bars or something, or clubs, because people are still gathering amongst one another.
Well, I think they try to make it sound more drastic than what happened, but
Okay.
I mean, the health ministry has said that businesses should avoid big, crowded places. And that it's not a law, but it's a recommendation. And
That's fair.
what the health services did was to visit different bars and restaurants in Stockholm, the capital city, and they found that 10 of them had too crowded. And they asked them to change the way that they let people be at the place. And they gave a warning, and then they returned some days later, and 5 of those restaurants and bars did not change anything, and they were closed down temporarily until they started. Because you can't, you have to, people must sit at tables, and the tables can't be too close, and you can't, there is a law that you can't serve at the bar, you know, in front of the bar, you know, where people stand up and, you know, because that's considered too crowded. But you can sit down at tables, and so I don't know exactly what in each case what happened, but they say that they have a doctor or some kind of a virus expert that this makes the final decision to if they're going to close down a place.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's
I
not
don't
just
trust doctors
like
to make that decision.
Yeah, well, but anyway, it's not just, there was no police ramming down the doors.
That's good.
You know, dragging people, but I don't know exactly what the reason that they closed, but they, at least they say it's too crowded.
Okay. All right.
But, you know, it's not really law. It's just that, you know, they have to make it healthy.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate the update. How are things going with you and this thing?
Well,
you still working?
Well, I'm still working, but I mean, I don't know what's the English word for it, but you know, it's less working now because I'm just about 50% work now.
Right. Yeah. Well, I hope things pick up again.
Yeah, it will, you know, but nobody knows when.
Right. True. Well, I'm glad that we have our president here in America. He's like the one sane person that I can trust to want to do the right thing, you know, regarding businesses. It's so ridiculous, these people. They're just like control freak mamas. Anyways, Samuel, it's nice to hear from you. Anything else?
Yeah, I thank myself that I live in Sweden right now. Yeah. I feel like it's an oasis of, in a pretty weird Western world right now because, that we should have beta feminist leaders that
Right.
say, hey, we'll not use totalitarian powers right now. We're going to try to be civilized about this and, quite relaxed. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I think so too. That's surprising that they wouldn't try to overstep.
In a neighboring country to Sweden, Denmark, it's
Yeah.
also Scandinavian, a woman was fined because she sat down at a bench outside. In some places, it's illegal for people to sit down in the open. They have to always be mowing. And other weird stuff happening around. So it will not happen here in Sweden.
That's good. That's good to hear. Samuel, thanks, man. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, take care.
All right, you as well. Let me get to Rick out of Hampton, Virginia. Rick, what's up?
What's up, Brother James? What's going on?
Not much. How about you?
Man, everything is going good, man. I just want to get your opinion, Brother James.
Rick, you're sounding way far away.
Can you hear me now? I'm sorry about that. I'll be sorry about the bad connection. Can you hear me, James?
Yeah.
Hey, who you think old Biden gonna pick for vice president?
I can't predict. I would be shocked but I would love if it were that black woman that other fat black woman, Stacey Abrams. But I doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't. Who knows?
Hey, they got a joke on Joe Biden saying he better not pick nobody attractive because he say Joe Biden a little touchy.
Oh yeah.
So they saying he better not pick the Michigan governor because I saw a picture of her. She is a very attractive woman, and Michelle Obama. So
She was the one in Michigan you're talking about.
Yeah,
That woman.
yeah.
Her name is Gretchen Whitmer, but
Yeah.
she's not so much anymore. She got too much plastic surgery, in my opinion. She looks like, I've pointed this out before. She looks like that guy, what's his name, who changed his sex. Bruce Jenner.
Oh, look like who?
Bruce Jenner.
Oh man, man.
Yeah, that's what I said when I saw her face. I was like, oh man. But yeah, who knows? We'll see.
Wow,
Rick, your phone is kind of messing up. I gotta go. Nice to hear from you, though.
Okay, James. I'll
All right.
talk to you later.
Take care. Yeah, I have more about stuff that Joe Biden is running his mouth saying. So it's silly. It's silly. But let me get to Mark out of San Diego, California. Mark, thanks for holding. How you doing?
What's happening, James?
Not
All
much.
is well. How are you?
Doing fine.
Yeah, I wanted to answer your one question and then talk about fishing real quick.
Okay.
Your one question about can they just do that? Can they just shut people down?
Yeah.
And I would say that the Fourth Amendment in the Bill of Rights doesn't allow that. No unlawful search or seizure. So if I'm not committing a crime, you can't just pull me over and say, show me your ID or are you an American citizen or whatever. You can't do any of that.
Yeah.
So if they can't ask for my ID, they surely can't send me home because I'm, walking on or sitting at a table the way Samuel was describing. That happened to us the other day.
Yeah, that's so ridiculous. These people are out of control. We need somebody to, the DOJ supposedly said that they're going to be looking at or watching out for people that overstep, meaning local government leaders who are Democrats who are overstepping the bounds of freedom. So hopefully they do that, but that's not really going to protect us. I think we need people who are both respectful to the police and yet standing their ground on these issues.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit of sense into people.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think is going to happen. You remember when Trey Gowdy, I know you're not a fan, he just talks, and doesn't do anything.
Yeah, right.
But do you remember when he said that, if you're waiting for a Martin Luther King, if you're waiting for a Reagan, he's not going to come.
True. Yeah.
No one's going to come and say what you need to do. You need to do it. You need to be that way. And I know that's Jesse's message.
Yeah.
And I was kind of talking like that to people,
Yeah.
And because at first I was just defensive. I was like, you can't tell me, you know what I mean? And then I was just kind of like, look, man, I'm not suggesting we all go cough on people, okay?
Right.
But I'm not doing anything that could possibly infect someone, so why are you tripping on me?
Yeah, exactly.
And then people start relaxing, you know what I mean?
Right. Good point.
But, I was also going to just mention really quickly, to all the folks at Bond, if you're listening, thinking about going to Bond, we've done trips and we're going to go fishing this year. I'm going to make that happen. I know I've promised it a couple of years and it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
And I think it would be really good because, I've been dipping into I have a chest freezer full of fish, yellowtail, rockfish, tuna, you know what I mean? And I just take fresh fish out of there all the time and everyone's waiting in lines, covering themselves. They got, antibacterial gel, all this crazy stuff. It's I'm not paying for anything. I'm eating fresh fish.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to share that with everybody at Bond. Go, to the church and we fish.
Appreciate that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Right on, Mark.
Yeah.
Well, man, I'll see you soon. It's been kind of, it's been weeks since I've seen anybody from church, really, because we haven't been having in-person service.
We literally drove by church last week while it was happening just to kind of feel. and we went the week before and said hello to Billy.
Oh, nice.
That's Billy. Yeah, I told him I was asserting my freedom.
Nice. That's cool. Right on, man.
All right, James. Thanks a lot.
Good to hear from you, Mark. Take care.
You too.
All right. I'm going to get to more calls, guys, but a couple of things. Hot Computer Smell gave a diamond and said, "May I have the B-Day song, Hake? Today's my B-Day." Birthday cake and square thing that's meant to be another emoji, but I don't see what it says. So, I don't know. Can we do the birthday song? Hot Computer Smell. This song, and I don't have my own song, so I'm doing Jesse's. You have to put up with it. This song is for you. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. That's cool. Hot Computer Smell. 26 years old. No, I don't know. I don't know how old the Hot Computer Smell is. But happy birthday. That's cool. And Sion gave a diamond too and said something very true. Everyone getting facelifts looking the same. Isn't that so true? Remember that woman, Joan Rivers? I almost looked at Joel. I think he's too young to know this woman. White, funny woman, Joan Rivers. I think she's white. Looks just like this. Well, she looks like an extreme version of this woman, Whitmer in Michigan, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who has some daughters, and she married a man who already has sons. They have a blended family, and those don't really work, according to Jesse, and I think she's right. She's 40, says Brandon Johnson. She says 25, yes, right on. 25, 40. Do Right says, my ears. Yeah, Joan Rivers, she dead. But all these people, they look like they start to get this plastic surgery face, and it doesn't look right. You know who else had a plastic surgery face? The woman who, I think it was illegally recorded, that man who owned the Clippers, that white man, well, he's Jewish, but he's white, kind of. He's white enough to get lynched. Donald Sterling, who he was hanging out with this young woman, and I forget her name, but she had a mean plastic surgery face. What a shame. But it's not really recommended, right? Such a shame, in my opinion. Botox is bad too. Pelosi is not looking right. Nancy Pelosi. I don't know if she did something more, but her eyebrows got way higher. Not good. All right. I am going to read. Let me just read a few of the super chats on YouTube because I don't want to fall too far behind, right? Jib Jab says, wait for it. And a black cat. Black cat, I guess. I think it's a black cat. I guess that's a signal of the bad luck from the messed up streams. I don't know. But appreciate that, Jib Jab. Always supportive. And it's nice to meet you. Sometimes he's been to some of the meetings that we've had. Lin Yan Chin says, improve quality of life with every breath of that life. That's just the white people way, at least in the good old days. Joel got magic. He black. I'm filling in the blank because he didn't finish. Lin Yan Chin says, Professor Dave, and professor in quotes, is an intellectual. Yeah, that's true. He's an intellectual, not a wise person. Traumatized into fixation with group opinion, a.k.a. facts and citation to more group opinions. Mama got him good. Good. Jib Jab says, Dap Beta James wouldn't read the mean super chats. Yeah, and he's referring not to this James, but the host of the Jesse debate last night. It was fun. It was a fun debate, but he was like, oh man, these super chats are kind of mean. I don't want these are a bunch of insults. I don't want to read the insults. So he wouldn't read them. And he put mean in quotation marks. Happy birthday, hot, says Red Green Show. Hake, why don't you like Trey Gowdy? I just don't trust him. He was in government for a while. Google Trey Gowdy. He's like a young, almost young looking, I guess, but it's probably because he's just slim, a slim guy, skinny. And his hair changed all the time. But he had an interesting voice. But he would shout and it would get a little tiresome. And it would seem a little put on, like performance, rather than actually making a difference. And I could be wrong, but I never noticed him making a difference. And I could be wrong, but I just don't. After Trump, I realized that even the conservatives that I liked were kind of rhinos. And conservatives I liked were Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz. And I know a lot of you guys already knew not to trust Ted Cruz or whatever. Lion Ted. This is Trey Gowdy. Joel is showing a Google search, image search of Trey Gowdy. If you've seen him before, you recognize him based on these pictures. And so that's why I don't like, I don't know, I guess I'm a Christian, so I'm supposed to like everybody, right? Or love them. But yeah, and now he's working for Fox News, and Fox News is at a low point, kind of, in my opinion, in that they seem to be falling for political correctness. They're like the conservative ink types, where they kiss up more to the liberals than they do to the right, the actual even centrists, the normal people. Gays, they kiss up to gays and women and blacks and all that stuff. It's pathetic. So, and then there's feel-good Christian stuff rather than true Christianity stuff. So that's Trey Gowdy, and he's working for Fox News. But whatever, there's some decent people at Fox News, and I appreciate them, right, for what they are. Ryan Moon says, happy birthday, hot computer smell. Yes, and appreciate the super chat, Ryan. And 510 Ralph Wiggum says, James, you are the best. Let's go karaoke. And has a strange, funny face. So, all right. Let me first, before I get back to calls, real quick, tell you about New York. This is from CNN. New York has become the first state to outright cancel its presidential primary due to the pandemic. I guess that was my Biden news. It's not even really Biden related. The state's Board of Elections says that with candidates basically already set, it would be nothing more than a risky beauty contest. Dumb. That's New York. You can trust them to be I don't know, overstep the bounds of their power. Whatever. And, the CNN is still citing the discredited, right, World Health Organization, which is an arm of the UN, saying the threat is far from over, even though some countries are beginning to open up again, return to normalcy. The WHO's, World Health Organization, WHO's Director General, who is an evil person, that black guy, Dr. Tedros, says that there are concerns that increasing trends in Africa are happening, and Eastern Europe and Latin America and parts of Asia. They have low testing capacity. What are tests going to make a difference for? They're just going to let us know a little bit more about what's going on. But if people are just protecting themselves, then what's the difference, in my opinion? So this test thing seems like a red herring, in my opinion. Some Yale study talking about the United States. Yale, I don't trust. A bunch of our worst Supreme Court justices, of which there are many, we went to Yale. So I don't trust Yale. The deaths across America supposedly spiked as COVID-19 spread in March and April. Of course. Duh, we knew that was going to happen because it's a new disease and it's spreading. Thank you, globalism. So by the way, this Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus is an Ethiopian microbiologist. My cousin is a microbiologist, interesting. Internationally recognized malaria researcher. Served since 2017 as Director General of the WHO, World Health Organization. And he's a communist, but they don't say that. Tedros is the first non-physician, meaning not even a doctor, and first African in the role. Wow, had to be the worst, too. First the worst. Endorsed by the African Union, which sounds like a communist organization, right? Am I harping on communism too much? California's lame. Beaches were crowding in California, and now it leads California to a crackdown again. Reuters says that California will step up enforcement of coronavirus-related public health restrictions after crowds jammed the beaches over the weekend. I told you it was hot. Friday, Saturday night, it was like, I wish I could have gone to the beach, but I didn't. I guess I just didn't think of it. But I would have slept over on the beach because we're about 10 or 15 miles inland, I want to say. And just that amount is warm. It's already warm in April. Although high will be 80 here, but it's already above 80 inside this studio. That's another reason I'm hesitant to go to 2 hours. Man, we need AC in here. Am I right? The real engineer, the high up engineer, has been begging for AC in here for ages, but we can't get that affirmative action money. I don't know. It's not good for the computers. It's not good for Hake. But Joel is fine because he's Somalian. I'm playing. But even he gets too warm, uncomfortably warm in here. And Jesse, too. And he grew up in the South where it's hot and humid all the time, I want to say. And he worked in the cotton fields. I'd rather work in the cotton fields than be in this hot studio for 2 hours, doing 2 hours of Hake. Sorry, guys. I'm messing around a little. Anyways, this beta governor, Gavin Newsom, on Monday was like pushing more restrictions. There were a couple of counties, Orange County, I think, and Ventura County, that opened up their beaches, so the beaches were crowded. But do you really... I'm trying to ask the engineer if he thinks that people crowding the beaches would would cause more coronaviruses spread. Out in the open, fresh air. The only thing he's saying this. That's how I feel about it too. I mean, maybe a little. See? So, I think it's worth the joy going to the beach. Get a little corona. He's shaking his head. So, whatever. All right, guys. Let's get back to some calls. Flat Earth Ed out of Oklahoma. Is your first name Ed? Or are you educating people about Flat Earth?
Well,
I was going to talk about free will from yesterday just real quick, and then I had something to say about Trump.
Okay. But is your first name Ed? Are you Flat Earth
Yes.
Ed? Okay.
Yeah, I called before. I used to be Turd Ferguson. I switched it over.
Oh, okay,
Flat Earth
right
Ed
on.
A while back.
Nice. Good to hear from you.
Hey, on the free will, I looked all that up, and Jesse's pretty much right. But then, if you're not saved, it seems that you do have free will to choose between God or Satan. Once you're saved, you pretty much have to do God's will, so you don't have free will. But I think that's how Jesse said it, if I'm not mistaken. I think he said, if you're a Christian and you're saved, you don't have free will. So he's probably right.
In like the old Sunday services, one time he asked, do you have two choices or one choice? And he said, you have one choice because you weren't given the choice for sin. That was made for you. So you only have one choice, and that's to go with God.
That makes sense.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I think he's pretty much right. But on the Trump deal, I was listening to a journalist that interviewed some women that had kind of escaped Epstein years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
And one of the women said that Epstein made most of his money off 3 men, and Trump was one of them, and that Ivanka Trump used to go with his assistant to go to junior highs to recruit women.
Whoa.
Yeah, like 12-year-olds and stuff.
Who claimed this?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Who was it who claimed that?
Her name is, what was her name? Her last name is Webb. I saw it on Tim Dillon's podcast, and he was interviewing, I want to say, Wendy Webb.
Okay. So that was another one of...
She's a journalist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you know where she's from?
She's interviewing some of the women that escaped Epstein years ago.
Was she a Miami Herald journalist, or was that different?
I'm not sure, but you can look it up. It's on YouTube. It's Tim Dillon. He's a comedian, and he does podcasts about.
But wait a minute.
Go ahead.
This Virginia Roberts Giuffre, right? Virginia Roberts. She was a so-called victim of Epstein, right? And she was supposedly started working for him when she was 15, and she had been working at the Trump Hotel as a towel girl or whatever. Google her and age, Virginia Roberts' age, because I'm just wondering, because that woman that you just mentioned is my age. That's Trump's daughter, Ivanka, and she is a liberal. But I don't know, man. I wouldn't spread rumors, and especially even from journalists, because journalists.
Well, I'm not, like I'm saying, I'm not spreading rumors. There's other things that I'm looking at that I see that have me not even on the fence anymore. I'm pretty much convinced that Trump was put in the White House and had all this Q stuff going to keep white gun owners under control right now. That's my personal opinion.
Virginia Roberts Giuffre is 36 years old, and Ivanka is 38. So, I mean, I don't know how long Epstein was getting females to work for him.
Well, Ivanka might have been extremely young when she was going to help his assistant, do that. Because that.
But you're I don't know, man. I'm not with you on this.
I understand, but I mean, I don't trust it. I think Trump was put there. I think things.
But you shouldn't think that. You shouldn't think stuff without proof.
Yeah, well, it's to me it's pretty obvious because he's still his family is married within Zionists and everything else, and I truly believe that since the beginning of time there's been.
But Zionist doesn't mean marrying, like you're talking about Kushner, I guess. Kushner marrying Ivanka. That doesn't mean that he was put there.
I think that might be that, and I think his son is married to someone too. One of them.
The one who's still married, right?
One of his sons, huh?
The one who's still married, because the other one is not married. But that doesn't. You're drawing spurious connections, man. Spurious? Is that the right word?
Absolutely. But
that's not a good way to go about things, because I've seen people.
Well, here's
listen.
A better way to go about
Hold up.
A better way to go.
Let me finish.
Look,
Let me finish.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
People have made spurious connections about Jesse and made all kinds of crazy assumptions. So this is where you guys, and I'm lumping you in with other people that go with this, let's call it conspiracy theory stuff. Not to say that not to say that every conspiracy theory is wrong. Some of them are true, right?
Right.
So
I understand.
So you guys look at things that are not ideal. Married to Kushner, or he's married to some woman who's not nationalist, right? That doesn't mean that he was put there.
Okay. Well, there's
Yeah.
an elite force that has been here since the beginning that are Baphomet, that worship Satan, devil worshippers, and they've been here since the beginning. And I find it extreme. And they've been pretty much running the world. They
But
put
everybody
everyone in
worships
place.
Satan.
Okay, but what my point is though is that if everybody thinks that Trump and the few military people that are helping him are going to just stop all of that all of a sudden, and the elite are just allowing it to happen, that's naive at best.
That's true. Yeah, we didn't think that it was going to be easy. Some people may have thought that Trump was going to have it easy. There's a lot of alt-right people that are saying, "Oh, Trump is not doing anything." That they're claiming that he lied about his promises, even though he's worked at keeping them. But no, I mean he's working on it. He's making mistakes here and there, I guess. And no, actually, I don't guess. I think that they are mistakes. But he's unlike other politicians, man.
Well, my
And-
opinion of it is, obviously, he was better than Hillary. I feel like he bought us about 10 years, maybe, but
we can't
I
predict
feel
the
like
future,
in the
man.
lo-
We don't know if
I'm
it's
sorry?
gonna. We don't know if it's gonna be over. We can't predict the future. Don't talk like that.
Yeah, well, like I'm saying, it's my opinion,
Yeah,
I
but don't go
understand
with
that,
don't go with opinions that are like predictive. It's better to have no opinion. Haven't you been
Yeah.
listening to Jesse?
That's
right?
possible.
It's
Yeah.
better not to have an
Kinda.
opinion and just say I don't know. I don't know where we're
Well,
going.
I know that God is the truth and that Trump is not of God. He acts like he is, but he's not. So,
But are you?
of course,
What makes you of God?
because I speak the truth and I believe in Jesus. I believe Jesus died for my sins.
But everybody thinks that, and they're not. You know that. You've met many people who think that very thing, and they're not of God.
You know the main reason is because they don't read their Bible. They listen to Jesse.
A lot of people read their Bible, and they don't listen to Jesse, and they're every bit as blind as what you're talking about. You know that.
Well, I need to change it. People need to study their Bible because some people read it and don't actually understand it, which I did.
But that doesn't change them.
You have to study it.
That doesn't change them, man. How long?
It's all.
How have you been listening to Jesse and not getting these points? Anyways.
Oh, I get it. I just have a few different opinions than Jesse. That's all.
But have no opinions.
I still respect and like Jesse.
I know.
Just don't agree with him on everything.
Okay. It's good to hear from you, man. Oh my gosh. It's nice to hear from you, Ed. Appreciate you calling
All right,
in.
brother.
Take care.
Take care.
All right.
All right.
Let me get to Bible go-to guy out of Los Angeles. And I'm opening the treasure chest and do it. Bible go-to guy, what's up?
Hey, great show.
Thank you.
I'm going to have to, you guys are going to have to put a tutorial on the web to teach people how to do this treasure chest thing, because I don't have an idea what the heck you guys are doing.
Oh, yeah. I'll explain it. I'll explain it at the beginning of the show tomorrow, all right? Remind me, Joel. I'll explain it tomorrow.
All right.
Treasure chest. Yeah.
I was telling the call screener that we've got to look at this from, let's just say we martial law and emergency and the public good wipes out your constitutional rights overnight.
Yeah.
The only way we're really going to be able to fight these people, because we're in emergency mode. See, in emergency mode, the government can do anything. They can make any law, and it's all under the guise of we're protecting you. It's an
Pretense.
emergency.
And it's all
Okay?
pretense, too.
But what we have to attack is not, hey, we lost our rights, because they're just going to say this is an emergency. We'll give you back your rights later.
Yeah, right.
What we have to do is attack the idea that it is an emergency.
True.
Just
that
like
too.
those doctors who your call screener said their video was banned. The two doctors who
Yeah.
were fighting COVID-19
Yep.
on ABC Channel 23, they said we should be back to work yesterday because this is all an overblown hoax, and
Yeah.
we are the guys working on the front line. When I told my coworkers that, they wanted to see the video, but we couldn't find it.
Yep. It was banned. That's what I heard, too.
But if we're not attacking the way the doctors are attacking, we're never going to get our rights back, because as long as we're in emergency mode or martial law mode, which is the same thing, we're not getting our rights back until we can convince enough citizens that we're not in emergency mode.
Yep. True, Bible go-to guy. Appreciate it, man. I got to run, but
All right,
take care.
thank you.
All right.
All right, bye.
Bye. Emmanuel out of Ontario, California. Emmanuel, thanks for calling. What's up?
Did you say California?
Ontario, Canada. There is an Ontario, California, believe it or not. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's
I
about
didn't know
40
that.
minutes away, an hour away, maybe. Yeah.
I wonder if it's nicer than this one.
I don't know.
It probably is. Anyways, I kind of got dragged. I didn't know if you were going to get to me or not.
I'm glad you held.
You're nearing the end of the show now, or
Yeah, but you got a few minutes. Go for it.
So yeah, I was going to talk about the virus, but there just seems to be so much going on about it, so I don't really want to get into that. But so, what's your opinion on? I have a friend of mine who just got broken off with a lady friend of his. On people, you know, if somebody wants a real relationship, they got to go about it the right way, and they just seem to think that jumping into bed right away doesn't matter.
Right.
What would you say to young men who want a meaningful, loving relationship with a woman that they have this delusion that jumping into bed it doesn't make a difference, but it for me anyways, I know for sure in my past relationships that jumping into bed right away, it just always led to a disaster.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense that that's what happens. People get hooked by having the sex with them. I had a friend who was dating a girl that he was not into, but he had sex with her, so he was kind of hooked. And so he was like torn about breaking up with her, even though he knew he didn't like her. And
yeah, it's like the sex tricks you into thinking that you have something with this person or something, but you don't really.
And it's so ridiculous. These people are pretend to be such liberals who love everybody. You know, this fake love, right? Oh, we don't want to be racist or anything. We don't want to be sexist. We don't hate women like you, James, right? Because I talk about women like a dog sometimes, but they act like, oh, you have to test drive the car. Well, what happens when you test drive a car? It gets wear and tear. And this is more than just test driving, and women are not vehicles.
Right.
They're not supposed to be anyways, especially not like that.
Yeah.
And so it's so ridiculous. It's so selfish, and it's so diluted. It's like,
yeah. Well, I just feel like a lot of my fellow
what
brothers,
I say. Real quick, what I say is don't throw away the traditions. A lot of people want to throw out the traditions, pretend like they have no validity just because they don't see the logic behind them, these intellectuals. But there's a reason that traditions became traditions for the most part. Some of them were for a good reason. So follow them. Anyways, what are you going to say?
Are you familiar with the name Tyson James?
Yeah, that's the guy, Tyson James, the rapper, right?
Yeah, man. So actually, it's funny because the first time I ever heard about Jesse's show was on his song Beta.
Nice.
You heard that song?
Yeah, I have. We played it on Jesse played it on his show.
He samples Jesse's voice in the beginning, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" So I looked him up, and I've been hooked ever since. But
nice.
Yeah. So
right on, man.
But he says in his song, he says, take your time and just date her. If not, she will turn you to a beta.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that's true.
So true, man.
Yeah.
It's so true. Like, because as soon as you jump into bed with her, she loses respect for you because you don't. It just shows that you're not. You're kind of in it for the pleasure of it. You're not really valuing her. if you
Yeah.
value her, I believe that you're going to take your time with her.
Yep. Yeah, and there's some guys that are like that already just because they're so needy of like a female attention or whatever, that they'll turn like that even before the sex. But you're right, you've seen so many guys get whipped by their girlfriends or wives or whatever.
And then they wonder how am I in this mess? And it's like I try to tell them, well, you jumped into bed with her real quick, and then they just they want the denial. That has nothing to do with it. It's like, no, man, like why don't you try it and then get back to me, because relationships that I've had with women where I wasn't sexually involved actually were much better than
they end
the ones
murders, like passion murders, right? Those happen because they had sex. When it comes down to it, these murders that take place between men and women and cheating and all that stuff.
They're all mixed up in this sticky, lustful stuff that is the carnal pleasures of life.
Just feeding that evil ego. It's nice to hear from you, Emmanuel. Thanks for calling, man.
Yeah, man. Take care.
All right. Take care. Congratulations to Take Care Business Bear, Hot Computer Smell, Pyrus777, Bubs Love, and Shaggy Boy, the luckiest followers who received lemons from the treasure chest. And thank you to Pyrus777, Flo Shinsky, Brandon M, CCon, Hot Computer Smell, Shaggy Boy, Bubs Love, Take Care Business Bear, D-Wise, and Rick 91307, and Lin Yen Chin gave $5 Canadian, which is about $2 American. Just playing. I'm totally kidding. It's a little bit less than whatever. Hot Computer Smell says, Lin Yen Chin says, Hot Computer Smell, it's your real birthday today. I hope you dream of giant robots. And gave a robot cupcake. Or is it a robot head? Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Let's see. The food supply chain, I'll have that, those links if you want to check them out on YouTube. On my blog post, thehakereport.com/blog. I'll post about it later. And I'll have a link to Jesse's show on my blog post too from today's show, all right? To Jesse's interview. And Trump retweeted something that contradicted the food supply chain's fear-mongering. So he may be right. We'll see. Keep your eyes peeled. And we'll see you tomorrow. TheHakeReport.com for my stuff. JLPTalk.com for Jesse Lee Peterson's stuff. Take care, guys.